This is International Motorsports right here on Sky Channel. After bringing you 26 programs on the 1987 Paris-Dakar, Sky Channel has now gone to the Arizona desert for last weekend's Parker 400. It's round one of the American off-road racing series, and what a difference between the Paris-Dakar and the American races. Baja buggies going every which way, literally, and the heavy metal trucks doing their utmost to turn themselves over. Here on Sky Channel, we believe in bringing you the best motorsport literally from around the world. You can be sure that wherever the action is best, our cameras will be there. The bridge was rebuilt at Lake Havasu City, which is just a few miles north of Parker in the middle of the deserts of Arizona. Unfortunately, as you may well have heard this week on the news, London Bridge in Lake Havasu City is now falling down. It just goes to show that money can't buy everything. So, Lake Havasu and Parker is situated some 200 miles east of Los Angeles. The race will be run partly on the Californian side with another 2 loops on the desert Arizona side. There's some 400 entries, and they'll be led away by the Class 1 vehicle number 100 of Mark McMillan, who won the recent Baja 1000, an event you saw here on Sky Channel. Class 1, the quickest of all of the classes, they're for 4-wheel unlimited single-seaters. If you think the Group B supercar era is over in Europe, well, there's nothing restricted here on these American off-road racing events. Number 102 is the ever-spectacular Ivan Ironman Stewart. Now, they call him the Iron Man because he drives that incredibly powerful Toyota pickup truck all by himself, and therefore can be classed in Class 1 to race with those light Baja buggies. And this is Iron Man jumping for joy and leading the Parker 400. He's followed by 106, that's Nick Nicholson. Now, these Baja buggies powered by sometimes turbocharged Volkswagen engines. And remember, Peugeot, Mitsubishi and Porsche have expressed an interest in actually going to the Baja 1000. So the American Off-Road Series very much on the up and up as 108 goes through Steve Bradford. This is Steve Serapis with the Class 1 Baja buggy. He won the 1985 Baja 1000 when he drove in Class 2. That's the unlimited single-seater but for 2 drivers. So this is his first outing in the bigger Class 1. As 119 goes through, that's Greg George. Now on to the Heavy Metal Brigade, Class 8 for 2-wheel drive heavyweight trucks, and because they're only 2-wheel drive, they are amazingly spectacular. As away goes the 1986 champion of that class, Walker Evans, with the Dodge. Incidentally, Dodge spent over $2.5 million on the American Off-Road Series. The BF Goodrich truck there of Frank Vessels gets away, another very quick driver. 805, Steve Kelly won the Frontier 500 last year, but retired from the Baja 1000. But here he's going very strong with his big Chevy. But this is Walker Evans bouncing his way into the lead. But what a battle it is in this class. The major manufacturers in the United States regard the heavy metal class as very important to their advertising throughout America and therefore pump a lot of money into it. Brian Stewart with another BF Goodrich truck. No holes driving, as it were. And this is Steve Kelly. He'll soon take the lead from Walker Evans. A lot of control needed, not only to keep the truck on the gravel, but away from the spectators. Some of them being particularly stupid, reminiscent of scenes in the Rally of Portugal last year. But out in the desert, when it's followed by our Sky Channel helicopter, it's completely different. The battle on between Walker Evans with the incredible Dodge Walker Evans, who won the category in the 1986 Baja 1000. He's going to be running, he hopes, the 1987 Paris-Dakar, but look at the suspension on the back of that Dodge. Up to 4 shock absorbers on each wheel, and the pounding it takes quite extraordinary. Now this is Brian Stewart. He was Rookie of the Year in this class last year, and he'd moved up to 3rd place. That was until this happened. Broken suspension, out of the race. And there's absolutely nothing he can do except wait for his service crew. When you consider that some of the major truck teams have an investment of more than $2 million, it's hardly surprising that major manufacturers such as Peugeot, Porsche and Mitsubishi want to get in on the American off-road racing series. Hence their interest in the final round of the championship, the Baja 1000. This then is Steve Kelly, the man who'll go on to win the Class 8 two-wheel drive utility vehicles, as they call it in America. And he averaged over 47.5 miles per hour. But as with all off-road racing series, there are accidents, and the SCORE medical team is quickly there. SCORE are the people who organize this race. The trike rider had some back injuries, and so a helicopter was summoned from Palm Springs, a medical helicopter, to take him to hospital. As ever, difficult terrain for all of the competitors, especially the trikes and the bikes. But Steve Kelly there, going past the scene of the accident on his way to victory. Now this is Albert Arciero, who had been in 2nd place overall, just behind Ivan Stewart, but then he jumped too high and badly damaged his suspension, and he would finish down the order. But the man who was the runaway leader overall in 1st place, Ivan Ironman Stewart, he'd led at the end of the first 110-mile Californian loop. He also led at the end of the first loop around the Arizona desert, some 120 miles, and he was on to his final leg. This is John Clark Gable, son of the legendary actor Clark Gable. But he'd had a few punctures and had dropped well down the order. Rod Hull with the Class 4 winning truck. This is trucks for 4-wheel drives, and Rod Hull, a many times champion of his class. Now we've got to say that Richard Llewellyn in number 510 in Class 5, that's the unlimited Baja Bugs, has got a very, very serious problem. With no tyre still on his car, he made it to the finish just within the time limit in 6th place. But this was to be the last time we would see the leader 102, Ivan Ironman Stewart. He broke halfway round the last loop after leading almost all the way. Now Gary Gall almost hits our camera. Meanwhile, some people find this all far too boring. But Mark McMillan is out to show that they're completely wrong. And Walker Evans, well, what can you say about the truck? But he's well down the order and finally broke his axle, leaving victory to number 200, Class 2 in the unlimited 2-seater vehicles, Bob Gordon. But incredibly, he almost goes off within sight of the finishing line. But victory to the Class 2 vehicle, Bob Gordon wins at an average speed of just over 55.8 miles an hour and a total time of 5 hours and 24 minutes for the 400-mile race. We'll bring you a full report on this incredible event in a later edition of International Motorsports. After the break, though, join us for part 1 of our review of the 1986 Motocross World Championship season.